What's up, good people? It's the Truth Is Podcast, and today we have a live audience. So we have some really powerful individuals in the room. So I'm going to go around the room and give you a description of who's in the room. We have one person who is a vice president of a big-time multimedia company. We have a very popular politician in the room. We have a father who has put numerous kids through college. We have a doctor in the room. We have a single mom who put her kids through college. We have another woman who has served the first black in the state of New York as far as Westchester County. So we got some big dogs in the room. So my question to all of them, and we'll go around the room, is the impact of social media. How do they handle the social media hate? How do they handle the social media positivity? Do you take it personal? Do you ignore it? Is it a factor in your lives? Because let's be honest, social media can be damaging. People throw subliminals. People try to sub you and talk about something that they know about you personally because they know you. So we're going to start today's episode with the vice president. The vice pres, we're not going to tell you the company because we don't want y'all emailing and Googling the company. But VP, how do you handle social media?
Easy. I'm not on it.
Good answer, VP. Good answer.
I'm not on
Yes.
it. Because I work in it, I know the impact, positive, negative.
Right.
So I keep my life private. But I got burner accounts, so I know what's up.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what's going on. Like I know
You have
everything.
to.
KD in
Yeah,
there.
Kind of have to, right?
yeah. I know everything that's going on. So I'm not losing a step, but I don't really like to overshare. So the people who could reach me. Like everybody in this room got my direct line.
Right.
So they hit me when they need to hit me, and I hit them. But I don't really like to do the whole, this is what I'm eating.
Exactly.
I don't like to be over-critiqued.
Yeah.
But some people's built for that, so I don't knock them either. You know, it's part of your branding, and I think it's the world we live in. Social media is currency in today's world. So if you want to build a business, you need a social media presence. It's not like how it was 20 years ago. So I think if you want to build a business or any type of brand, it doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't have to be a t-shirt company. It could be just your personal brand. And so I think social media is necessary, but it also has some negatives too. There's a lot of pressure.
Right.
I think visuals add a lot of context, and they add a lot of energy. Even if you think about like some of the shootings that we've seen.
Right.
I think 20 years ago, you might hear about them, and even if you see something on the news is blurred out, you could go to Twitter and you could see like the raw footage. It adds an extra layer of emotion.
Right.
So I think social media, again, I think it has its pros and its cons. I think it has its space. And then I think with the evolution of like a TikTok, with the newer generation, like the Gen Zs of the world, I think that's probably going to be around for the foreseeable future. And I think they have their own sort of space that they occupy. But I like the fact that TikTok feels fun. So that's my quick take.
Okay.
Councilman, what's your take on this topic, Councilman?
I mean, when you think of the social media platform, it's very important and vital to any entity out there, no matter if you're in government, business, just being an influencer. Social media is important. Seeing my brother over here, he said he doesn't have an account. I mean, I understand that because psychologically it messes with you.
Yeah.
When you think about just your peers and just where you value yourself in life, we kind of value ourselves in life about who we hang around with before. So if you're around a group of friends and they're like on the same level as you, you're not really, we weren't talking about mental health and depression, anxiety back then. But now when you're like valuing yourself with a whole group of, you know, people who are the same age, look like you, and that could be kind of, you know, tough.
Right.
So, and if you look at that element, look what our kids are going through right now. I mean, they have to go online, and even our young girls, like, I have 2 beautiful daughters, and just thinking about them, like, when they grow up, they just think they have to look a certain way to be beautiful. That's just something online that they're thinking about. But on the positive note, when you think about social media, it's also what it could do for you. As a politician now, it's like, as a politician, like back in the day, you had to be everywhere. I mean, not saying now you don't have to be everywhere, but you could actually document where you are.
Right.
So back in the day, you just had to be everywhere. If they didn't come there at the time you were at the event, because as a politician, you're everywhere. Like, you have to be here, there. Like, your day could be full. You could have to go to like 10 events, and you can't go to an event and spend 2 hours, 3 hours at an event, because you have to show love to other people as well. So on social media, you can use that as a tool to showcase that you were actually there.
Right.
And it's like a business mechanism, and we have to kind of view it like that. But you have to use it right. And we're not educated to know that.
Right.
And the people are out there that actually put it out there. We didn't put this out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we're actually, making it what it is. Because we influence culture, so we have to actually view it like that. So it's a very important element.
Pop. Podcast Pop. Y'all don't
That's me.
Y'all don't understand, for the listeners out there, you don't understand how hard this man works, how much of a man he is taking care of his family.
Pressure.
He has
Pressure.
2 college graduates, one that's about to graduate soon. Pop, talk to the people about social media and its impact on you and your daily interactions and what your opinion of it is.
Okay. First of all, Troy, I don't work that hard. I pay attention. I play around with social media to track my kids, see what the lingo is, what's going on, what's the trend. So I watch and see if they notice the new TikTok or they notice the new TikTok challenge and things of that sort. I also do my own little study sometimes. I'll put up something sad and see how many likes I get. And I put up something happy, I see how many likes I get. Like just today, I took a picture of my friend Anita's tuna fish. And she makes a heck of a tuna fish. I'm trying to see if anybody likes this tuna fish, But seriously, that's basically what I do. I just go on to find out what's the new trends and track what my children are watching, what they're paying attention to, what they're liking, what they're posting, what they're saying, what's going on in their life. That's it.
Thank you, Pop. So, Dr. John, man with more degrees than people have years on the planet, how do you feel?
Wow.
Yo, Dr. John. Yo, no pressure, Doc. Listen, Dr. John got some
Put something
serious.
together now, man.
More degrees in a hot summer day.
Yo, I'm telling you. Yo, Dr. John plays no games. He's certified. So, FYI, all y'all people with these fake online doctorate degrees,
Honorary.
he got a real doctorate degree. Like, he got a real hard-earned doctorate degree. So, Doc, what's the impact of social media in your life? Maybe some of your students. Talk to me about your opinion on social media and how much of it impacts your life.
I say for me, and thanks for the intro. That was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure facing me. Social media has helped. I think myself and our VP over here. We was kind of early on. We were we picked up on LinkedIn, right? I knew where you was going, and we used that to our advantage to help us get to where we need in our career. And early on, we picked up on it, and I think between the both of us, we probably have how many connections you think? Right? Maybe about 1,700. if that,
About
2,000,
Yeah,
about
about
2,000
2,000,
connections.
yeah, something like that.
And it's helped, like just the relationship aspect, the networking. I think as far as like the TikToks, and you see, there was some studies out there years ago that was brought out, and they were talking about how social media can lead to depression, because you see a lot of people who, they see people living these lives, and people will throw up anything. They'll put themselves, vacation in Aspen, and not no Aspens in Colorado, but you're just seeing like a vacation, and you start looking at your own life, and you're like, well, dang, what am I doing? And there's been a lot of suicide, there's been a lot of depression from that. So it has its pros and its cons, and it depends on how you use it. I think a lot of these kids and what's going on, and you see our rappers dying now because people are posting stuff and locations, and you got these fans and these people who just mean no good, that's out to get you, by any means. We live in another time, so I think even from that, it's a lot of negatives that go to it as well. And then it makes me think, I have a 5-year-old, so then what is social media going to be like when he gets to the point where he feels like using it? How much do we have to monitor? How much am I going to have to call the VP over here? What do you think about him? You know what I mean? And it's crazy. We live in a crazy time. Some of these days, you call it the last days. So what is that going to look like for our children who are small? As far as the negative aspects of it as well, people are going to say things. I try to practice a lot of high-level emotional intelligence. So I don't really get upset. I understand why you upset. What Lil Kim said, if I was you, I hate me too. But there's some people out there who just wake up upset, and they just looking at people's lives, and they're posting stuff, and and it's almost like a cry for help. And us, being servants and public servants, we trying to help as many people as we can. And when you see that, that's also an avenue, that people, an outlet for people to just get out what they're feeling and, stuff. So, it has its pros and its cons, and, I'm gonna stop rambling now. This Rum Punch is good. But yeah, I do thank you.
Let me chime in on that. So I think when we think about social media, we don't give LinkedIn enough respect, because it is a huge platform, yes, but aside from that,
Said pass that back, Poppy.
Yeah.
what LinkedIn, and he's right, what LinkedIn did was it allowed you to skip over the waiting periods of somebody getting back to you, so you can actually Google the company and then the
Or you could get
position
in that
and find
room.
out who the hiring manager is and go directly to them. So now you cut out the 2 or 3 people you would have to deal with in the process, which if you really don't have any money or time, LinkedIn gives you the ability to be efficient.
Right.
So what he's talking about is 100% right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. That's how I know we connected.
Yeah.
There's
'Cause I
no
was thinking to
there's
myself.
no avenue to teach you how to be efficient on social media. You understand?
Agreed.
Because
Trial and error.
Yeah, it's trial and error. Because now we focus on like Instagram. You know what I mean? No one's really on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? And LinkedIn's a major factor if you want to get in certain rooms. Because maybe if you want to get in tech, you can't get in certain rooms to get in tech, but you could meet someone on LinkedIn and make that connection where you could kind of get in that room. So we don't teach that to our younger people now. So if we teach that principle now, and this is why this episode is very important, you have to know the major factors on how you can utilize social media, leverage people, subscribe and like.
Right.
Subscribe and like.
I agree with
And
that.
So,
utilize leverage.
my question is for Poppy. So, Pop, you as one of the rare men that I know who were able to get all of your children in college, how do you use social media?
I don't really use social media. I'm just listening to these gentlemen speak, and I'm thinking like that Instagram and Facebook. It seems like the world has made it like a decoy to not be a networking place, but just a decoy to make you do a lot of foolishness.
Yeah.
When you have things like LinkedIn, and you can meet up with managers, and you can skip the middleman.
about
and then-
business.
Right.
Right.
They took the business aspect out of it and made it more social than network.
May I?
Sure.
May I? Go ahead, Kev. I'll let you go.
I don't think they took the business aspect out of it. Like the world's getting different. Like back in the day, you used to have horses that carry people. Then you had cars. Now we're going into a life where we see electric cars coming in. You talk about like the Jetsons, like you used to watch these shows back in the day. Like the world's evolving. So what happens? And I just say that with LinkedIn, like it puts you in rooms that you feel like you can't get into, because you have to also think about, like, a lot of people go through like anxiety when they get in certain rooms. Like, you know what I mean? You're not comfortable getting in those rooms.
Right.
So you're not comfortable talking to those people. So you could connect with them on social media, what gives you a barrier where you could connect, find some similarities, and then advance on those similarities to actually get in that room. So I think you could use it as a tool, and especially as a parent now, I think it's important for us to like teach our children, especially influence them as well, because not to utilize that tool as the wrong thing.
Right.
Because online, you're utilizing that tool as an aspect of judging how your life is supposed to be.
Yes.
But you're supposed to utilize that tool to advance your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you could actually show your talent.
Right.
Instead of back in the day going to each, if you're in music, if you go to each record label, you have to give your tape. Here.
Right, right.
You have to find
Yeah.
those executives and at parties and things of that nature. Now, all you got to do is put it
out
online.
there, yeah.
Consumption's
Put it
different.
online.
Yeah.
It's easier now. You know what I mean?
Just a question I got for you, Jay.
Okay.
So what do you say? Okay, it's business, but what about the Instagram models? They're showing their asset. They can't get in a room, so they
So-
put that.
So my response to that would be each social media channel is a channel. So if you think about cable television, let's just say 15, 20 years ago, you think about the landscape, you go to different channels for different things. The consumption on those channels are different. So it might be reality TV over here, it might be news over here, it might be, or liberal versus conservative. Like, when you go to Fox, you're gonna get a certain type of tone, and that's how I view social media in these different buckets, right? So like Pinterest is a social media platform too. And my wife goes there because she looks for inspiration when she's decorating the house, when she's updating the house. That's a channel that she's going to for a particular type of content, right?
Right.
LinkedIn is for professionals. It's for people who desire to take a professional route and they want to climb a corporate ladder, or they want to be around business, Shark Tank, like the influencers on LinkedIn. And this is how you can always tell how different the channels are, because the people who are the most popular on the platforms are all different. Kim K matters a lot on Instagram, but she doesn't on TikTok.
Not at all.
It's a different audience. And then on LinkedIn, it's somebody like Ariana Huffington.
Right.
She matters a lot, like a lot, because the people who are consuming her content want to be informed.
Right.
So it's all about the consumption behavior is different, and then the people that matter are different. On Twitter is Barack and AOC.
Yeah.
AOC matters a lot on Twitter. So
Politicians, yeah.
it all depends on, like, the reason why some people don't use certain platforms is because it doesn't match their behavior. And then the content on that platform is not native to how they consume content. That's really, sorry.
And then when you talk
Excuse
about
me, that's my
the
passion
different
talking.
buckets,
Sorry.
right? So you got TikTok and you have Facebook and you have Instagram. That could be in the bucket of leisure, right? So you may be wanting to do it on your leisure time. You may not use it for a professional setting. And then you have some of these kids coming up. Why do I want to be professional? I just want to be on Facebook. I want to be with my friends, and that's what people use it for.
Social.
It's social. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
But that aspect of how you view it is how we have to educate it, though. Because if you spend so much time
Absolutely.
on one network, you feel like this is how you have to kind of market your lifestyle and how you have to live in order to scale or advance in life.
Right.
And you have to view LinkedIn like how we utilize our LinkedIn is not efficient enough. We utilize our Instagram, TikTok's efficient. There was a study, I was listening to something the other day, and there was a study talking about how people go to TikTok more than YouTube. Or even doing like research. If you want to know about a specific place where you could talk about like different restaurants,
Kev, if I
prime
may
locations.
interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's
go
what I
ahead.
was. That's
You-
what I was
you know
gonna
where
say.
I'm going. You
That's
know
what I was
where
gonna
I'm
say.
going.
So
That's good stuff.
there's a study about Gen Z's using TikTok for search more than they use Google.
Okay.
So our generations, when we want to know something, we Google it, or the second biggest search engine is we YouTube it because it gives us a visual.
Right.
Gen Zs are using TikTok.
So you mean
find
nobody's
out.
using Bing anymore? No Yahoo search.
Big bang.
Bing bong.
Wow.
I mean, what is that? I mean, unless you're sponsoring this, I don't know.
Right. Shout out to Bing.
Shout out to Big Doe.
But yeah, I appreciate it. But I think that's a good point. I think even when you start talking trends, and I know that you're stepping into your world, and you start watching trends. Thank you. You know what that means for TikTok, and with TikTok arguably being like one of the most popular channels out there and outlets. You know what are these kids seeing, and then do we stop them? Do we deter them? Because not for nothing, in Gen Z, you're seeing a lot more millionaires being born every day. Right?
More opportunities being
More
built.
opportunities,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You didn't have these opportunities because, like I stated before, if you couldn't have the opportunity to get in certain rooms, you wouldn't be able to advance.
Right.
And that's why I think social media is so vital and important, but we're not educating people on how to utilize it. Like how you just mentioned the avenue of leisure. Like, hey, you want to be social, you want to be business oriented, you want to be literate and like kind of inform yourself on what's going on. You have to go on different platforms to kind of get that education. That's important.
What about the people? I think his name is Jay Morrison.
Yeah.
So what about people like him that are educating, but people are just not listening? Because that's also, and we got to also take that into consideration too. There's a lot of people who put out content, educating and informing, but there's people on the other end that just choose not to listen, or like we just talked about, Earn Your Leisure, which is, they got a nice platform, but there's still some people who may look at that like, I'm not sitting through 40 minutes of this. So that's a part of, I think that's a part of the discussion as well, is are you willing to receive the information?
Right.
Let me ask you, VP. So, do you think that just the United States use social networks this way? Because I seen a study that China they forbid
No.
any type of like foolishness on TikTok.
No, I think that every platform has, I don't want to say universal, but there's almost a standard of what's native to that platform. So like, for example, like TikTok typically has music and movement in the background. Nobody's gonna go on TikTok and put a still picture.
Right.
You know, like, so that's what I mean. Like, so, but within that though, there's still a lot that you can do around that. So I think there's variation, but there's still some sort of guardrail about how it's gonna look and feel.
You know what I've been realizing? Like even the still pictures, people are not. They don't want to see that. They want to see an interaction. They want to feel the environment. So that's something to pay attention to. Like if you look at any influencer, if you look at anybody utilizing social media platform, like even Instagram, they got reels, stories, ways you could kind of interact with people, and that's important to kind of realize. LinkedIn now, you know, when they get to that certain kind of marketing, I think that would be beneficial to their marketing too, because even as a professional, you still want to feel how that job feels. And I think people when you talk about social media platform, and it kind of takes away from that feeling of kind of interacting with people. That's important because that's what this kind of gives with the reels now and the stories. You could kind of get that live interaction with people now. And unfortunately, we just went through a pandemic. So there's something else added to that where people are afraid to be around each other because we have never experienced anything like that.
Right.
So interact
So
with no touch.
yeah, it's like interaction with no touch
Right.
is what's the new thing. Like we saw holograms and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
of people who passed away. You know what I mean? Recently in concerts.
Right.
Like the world is changing, y'all. Pay attention, man. Invest, pay attention, educate
Invest.
yourself. Black people, we have to be at the forefront because we control this market.
Yeah.
We control every market out there. and we have to pay attention. So when we talk about education and informing ourselves about social media, it's just about educating our younger people because they're coming up in this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we had Skolniks back in the day. If we had someone that pulled us to I remember high school. Skolniks was the first social media platform out there, like how Facebook, Instagram, and stuff out there. Where you could,
MySpace.
where you could put a picture out there and you could actually put a background, a biography, who you are. I'm 5'7", brown. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bobby. Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
yeah. But Skolniks was the first, and if you could look at that, if we had people to educate us about that, and be like, hey, utilize this to market anything you're doing. If you into fashion, if you into spitting stuff, utilize this market and advancing it, where we could have been today.
You know, some really, really intriguing points from some very intelligent brothers and sisters on this podcast. And the next one I really, really, really want to touch on is Nita. Anita is, y'all don't understand how powerful Anita is.
She's a baker.
You know, and shots. Anita has been around very, very powerful, influential people. And she has moved with such grace and elegance. She also sees social media, and I'm really curious to see, Anita, how do you feel about social media? Do you use it? What's your take on it? You know, do you feel like it's used in the wrong way? Like, Anita, talk to the people.
I have nothing to say about that.
You never have nothing to say.
What? Social media, I don't use it too much. You know, I play with it a little bit. I look at pictures, but that's as far as it goes. I don't post too much. My experience with social media has not really been a positive experience. And it's something totally different than what everybody has been talking about. I feel like social media for me was a beginning of a downfall for me. And when I say that, and I'm being very candid here, I say it was a downfall of, I'm single now. And I feel like social media was the downfall, was the beginning of the downfall of my marriage. Things happened on social media. I wasn't really into social media. I wasn't really tech savvy. So things were happening around me and I was missing it.
Explain.
You want me to explain?
Open up some PTSD up in here.
DMs?
DMs, definitely DMs. You know, that's what was going on. DMs were happening, and it was the beginning of the downfall of my marriage. So at the end of the day, it wasn't a good experience for me. And you would think at this point I would try to get into it more so I could know a little more, and just know how to navigate through it or whatever the case may be. But what I can't do, I hate subliminals. And I find that there's a lot of subs on social media. I hate it because I'm a sharpshooter. I'm going to say what I got to say, and that's it. I mean what I say. And I find there's a lot of subs. People use it for craziness. I see where the positivity in it is. I see where it could be used for all these things that everyone has talked about. But for me, it was something different.
Thank you, Nita, for being transparent, you know, and for those of you who don't know, Anita is a very powerful woman, very influential. She's very humble. She's very modest, but you have no idea how powerful she is. So just the fact that she would even state that point that she just made is impressive and honorable. I'm going to pass the mic to Sonia, one of our main podcasters. Sonia, how do you feel about social media? How have you used social media? What's your take on it? And can you live without it?
I can definitely live without social media. And I do. Well, first of all, I think part of the reason why we don't like it is because, unfortunately, the people that we have as friends and connections are the people that we don't like. So,
I gotta get some new
so
friends.
therefore, in order for us to see this,
Explain that.
okay, all right,
Please.
I will.
You follow people you don't like?
No, let me explain. So therefore, and you're right. You're absolutely right. So if you see someone is on it that throws subs and you don't like it, then you unfriend them. So why let that energy be in your place and and you have to look at it all the time. I look at social media. In the beginning, the reason why I got it is because when my daughter's father died, I knew that was the place she would go to share her feelings and her emotions. And I needed to know what she was thinking and feeling because she wasn't open and talking. So, but I know that's the place that they would go. So before then, I never had it. So I got on it for that. Then it became a fun thing, laughing and joking and seeing cute babies and all that stuff. And that's what I enjoy. But then you started to see stuff that just didn't make any sense. And, the people that partake in the subs and that immature stuff, I call them punks behind the keyboard. You got a lot to say out there and, you have no social skills or maybe you're passive aggressive so you can't talk to that person or have that conversation with that person. So you go to social media. And, I made the statement about that, and Councilman, you made a very good point. Now I have to reevaluate my friends on social media because if they irritate me, I need to unfriend them.
No,
I have a question.
You just, I have to.
Because I wanted to chime in too, but that's good.
I have to at this point.
I'll let you go.
I have to at this point.
Right.
You chimed in on something about you went on social media to connect with your daughter during a tragic time.
Right.
I'm so invested in social media because I grew up in it, but I'm even more invested now because I'm watching my daughter
Right.
be invested in it.
Right.
And I go into gaming. Right now, kids are so into gaming, and with gaming, it's like social media and video games put together.
Okay.
Back in the day when we grew up, when you played Mario, you played Mario. That's it. You
Go
and
to
Mario.
somebody's crib.
You and Mario was playing. Or if you wanted to play a live video game, you go into someone's crib. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to play with them. Now you can play online.
Right.
You can share how your thoughts are. The other day, my daughter is playing Roblox. With Roblox, they have a chat. I even saw an article came out how a person lured a child somewhere off of Roblox.
Wow.
So it's just being cognizant of knowing that, hey, this could happen, and if you're not cognizant about social media, and that's why I think it's so important. I know it's so much adversities and negative against it, but when you said that, I had to speak on it because it's important. Because me as a parent right now, I have to be on social media. What's next?
Yeah.
I know with gaming, I know that they're talking. They're social on it.
Right.
They're chatting.
Right.
So you could connect with someone through gaming.
Right.
It's not just being on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. It's not
Right.
just that.
Right.
You could connect on Call of Duty.
Right.
You can
Is
connect on
YouTube a
2K.
social platform?
YouTube.
Do we consider
definitely
YouTube a
platform.
social platform?
Most definitely.
I think so. I would have to
Is
say
YouTube
so.
social media?
Yes.
Is that
I
true?
would say so.
Yeah.
I think even with YouTube, I was just chiming on that, and having a 5-year-old, and he goes on, he wants to go on stuff. I've seen like videos on like Elmo, where Elmo is literally like F the cops, and they're trying to brainwash these kids. So you have to monitor what these kids are watching. People are targeting this new generation.
And catfishing too.
Yeah, catfishing. You got to be very careful. Like sometimes, Bluey or some of these characters look different. Like they start like, I don't know. In the video, they start bugging out, and it'd be labeled as like evil, such and such to like 5-year-olds. So it turns into like, what are we doing? What are we doing to these kids? And I think also just chiming in with, Anita and Sonia, I think even through tragic situations, you also show the effectiveness of social media, and why it's important to even, find out what's going on. Because, people are using it for many different things, and it's so effective now that people are going to it for specific reasons.
Right.
So it's up to us to kind of like almost counter, and try to, build up a defense, and be in the know.
So, again, this is a very powerful episode. We had some very influential people who gave their opinion on social media. And, just to wrap it up, we want you to subscribe on the YouTube page, leave comments, email us at truthisat1311@gmail.com. Just make sure, leave us comments. We will get to those comments. We will come back and
Subscribe
We'll
and
sp-
like, y'all.
Yep, we'll speak. the councilman speaks.
like
We're
y'all.
gonna go ahead and we're gonna try to answer all your questions. And again, thank you for all of our guests, the doctor, the VP, the councilman.
Listen, truth is, you need
Bob,
to be on this
Nina,
platform.
and
Like and subscribe.
again, we're
Shout out to you.
We're all about we're all about secession, not depression. We're not gonna sit there and try to destroy you.
Talk about it.
We want to help you, and that's what we do.
Go find people.
That's what we do. So, all right, people. To the next episode. Thank you.